Hey there, Karen McCarthy, independent designer with Chalk Couture here. I thought I'd show you what I'm doing. Some of it's Chalk Couture, some of it's not. First thing is, I loved this that came out around Valentine's Day, but it's not really a Valentine's Day one necessarily. And so I am just going to go remove the me and the you that are red. I just take it over to the sink and I'll just wash that off. And I'm going to replace them with green and tie it into St. Patrick's Day. And then it can even go into spring. I think I'll leave the hearts. I may change them to maybe a pinkish color. I'm not sure. So there's that. Oh, I left one thing over here. My husband is so good about not throwing things away. This is just a piece of one of those prefab shelf systems that we may have gotten at Home Depot or Kmart. I'm not sure which. You can see because I haven't painted this end. It was too long for the space that we needed, so he cut it off, and so I just turned it into a St. Patrick's Day thing to put on our coffee table. This is done with my Cricut, and love the Cricut, but I'll tell you, I have a real challenge weeding everything out because my eyesight's so bad to see the little lines. But anyway, I love it, and this was the finished result. So there's that. Last night I couldn't sleep, so I started on another project that I have to let dry for a while. Let me grab them. I cannot remember who was doing this on, oops, I didn't get the right size, on YouTube, but one night when I couldn't sleep, I was watching, and they took the air dry clay and they made little peeps and then painted them and used them as accents. And so I made quite a few. I used a whole package. I had a few left, so I made what I'm going to turn into carrots. So I'm waiting for those to dry for a couple of days. This stuff doesn't dry, I can't remember what kind it was. It doesn't dry hard like a lot of the stuff. It's kind of more spongy, but I'll still paint it. But I wanted to make sure that it's as dried out as it can be before I get started. So I got that. I'm prepping. This was just a chunk of wood cut off from something. It was painted black, so I painted it white. I'm prepping it, and tomorrow I will use some Chalk Couture. I have one St. Patrick's Day design here until my order comes in. I'm going to do something with that on this. And because it's black underneath, I will probably distress it and have some of the black show through. I still have my bunnies to do something with. I chalked them last week, but I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to take them and see if they're the right size for my tree. I think they're a little bit too big. If not, I will do something with them. What else? I painted something else. Oh, another piece of scrap wood. This is what it looks like on the side I haven't painted yet. I'm going to turn this into something. Probably, I'm going to check the status of my Chalk Couture order because I know I've got something St. Patrick's Day in it. If not, I'm going to find something else on my Cricut design space and do something on here. And then, where did it go? Oh, way over here. This, I didn't take a picture of. It was, you can see, I think the lines here. This was a Valentine set from Dollar Tree that mimicked the look of books. And I just painted it white, and I'm torn. I was trying to get two because I wanted to do one for St. Patrick's Day and one for spring. And I think I can take this side that was like the bottom and make the fake lines and do a St. Patty's Day thing here. Have one side be, or this be the top for the St. Patty's, and then turn it over and have this be the top for spring, and have a double purpose project. I love those. They take up so much less space. So I'm just prepping it. I'm gonna have to do some sanding. I can see my paint had some dried spots. I don't know what's going on with this paint. So I'll probably sand that a little bit and then give it another coat of paint. And then maybe I'll be able to start doing some actual projects with these. I also want to go up to the dollar store and get some green, those really thin paper, or not paper, plastic tablecloths that they have. I want to get some green colors and then turn, oh, it's way over there. I have a round wreath that I want to turn into something for St. Patrick's Day. And then I will be probably done with St. Patty's Day for a while and working more on Easter. So I'm going to turn this off and come back and show you how easy it was to take the you and the me off, and then we will get going on that. Okay, I'm back. I've taken off the red you and me, and I used, this is a very beat up board eraser. Just scrunched it up and just made sure I washed just that part. It's all dry. So now I've got the transfer. These are silkscreen transfers if you aren't familiar with Chalk Couture. And we just get a little lint on them because they are self-sticking. We don't want them to stick too much, so we put lint on it, and then when we wash it, that lint comes off and the sticky comes back, and you can use these multiple times. So I'm going to make sure that I have the string here, so I've got it right side up, and I'm just going to get all of the air bubbles out. This is our chalk paste. This is Meadow. Our chalk paste is nice and creamy. This is a brand new jar. Oh my goodness, it's so nice and creamy. I just stir it up to get any air bubbles out, make sure it's the right consistency, and since this is a brand new jar, it's almost always the right consistency, unless you haven't opened it for a year, then sometimes it'll start to dehydrate. And then we just add some distilled water. Tap water tends to have things in it that will mold or mildew in the paste. I've got my little mini squeegee. That's the one that fits my hand. We have a bigger one, and a lot of people like this one. I just happen to like this one because I have little kid hands. I'm just, oops, let's see. I gotta get this so you can see. I'm just going to dip it in. I'm going to put it on my transfer, and then I'm going to work it through until I see no more black showing through and I see the design. And I'm going to wipe off any extra. Just put it right back in the jar. Waste not, want not. And then I'm going to peel it up. We try to not peel from one corner because that can kind of distort the transfer and mess up the image the next time. I just peel it up. I think I must have had it up higher last time, but that's okay. And that's how easy it is. I mean, you look like you're really talented and you don't have to be. All right, so I've got me. I'm gonna go off camera here and, oh, see what I did? I even wrote on the back what it was, and I still put the transfer on the wrong side. So it tried to stick to that. There's one glossy side, and that's where the transfer is supposed to go. Usually, if I've written on the other side, I don't put the transfer there, but I must have been in a hurry. All right, so I'm getting some lint on it. I can tell by the sound that this one needs like 3 or 4, like whoosh, whoosh. As they get less sticky, or sometimes they just don't have as much glue on to start out with, you don't have to fuzz as much. And I'm going to put me right here. Now, if I didn't like it, if I decided I did want you up higher, I could just take this to the sink and wipe that off again and do it over, but I have a feeling I'm going to like it okay. Make sure you can see. It's so easy to get out of camera range. Wipe off the extra. This whole project, if I weren't doing it on a live, the whole thing would take less than 10 minutes. The cleanup actually takes longer half the time. All right, and there we go. Kind of updated it a little bit to use with St. Patrick's Day. And I think I'm okay with the red hearts, so I'm just gonna leave those. And now I'll just go over to the sink. I'll take my board eraser. I always get the sticky side wet first. Let's see, it did tear up a little, or pull up a little paint on something else that I did it with, but it doesn't affect the transfer itself. Take it over, get the sticky side wet so it doesn't stick to itself or anything, and then wash both sides. I just kind of rub with the eraser. You can use your hand, you can use like a sponge or something that's not going to leave particles all over. And then I'm going to put it actually on a towel or my fuzzing cloth. This side is for drying. I'm going to put it sticky side up and just let it air dry, and then when it's dry I can put the backer back on. Now for my paste, I want to make sure that I have everything off of the edge. And then I have one here somewhere. I just take a wet wipe, not a baby wipe, because they have, that has lotions and stuff that could mess with the paste and the transfers and stuff. I just wipe everything off of the edge. This one's really new, so there's nothing on the outside. Make sure there's nothing on the inside of the rim of the lid. And I give it one little squirt of distilled water and then shut it up. The distilled water just helps it to keep from drying out in case I don't use it for a while. And that's it. So simple, and you can do so many cool projects. I do workshops here in Anaconda. Kind of hard to promote them as far unless I did a single project, because I have multiple surfaces people can choose from, multiple transfers with all kinds of different themes. So if you're interested, let me know, and I can let you know about the next one and the cost. Costs vary. You can do something very inexpensive, or you can have something a little more elaborate that costs more money. So anyway, talk to you later, and thank you for watching.